The Aztec Empire is one of the most well-known Mesoamerican cultures. It existed between AD 1325 and 1521 and controlled a significant portion of Central America, almost as large as modern-day Mexico. In this video, we will explore the origins of the Aztec and how they built their vast empire. Also, we will examine the incredible innovations that were made in engineering and the shocking reality of their religious sacrifices. While often referred to as the Aztec, they are also known as the Mexica, which is how they referred to themselves. The Aztec began as just one of several Nahuatl-speaking tribes. The area of northern Mexico, called Aztlán, is often associated with the origin of the Aztec. However, the exact location of Aztlán is debated among historians, and it may be more of a mythical homeland in Aztec legends rather than a historically verified location. Around AD 1100, the ancestors of the Aztec headed south, seeking a new homeland. Over successive generations, the Aztec were repelled by the regions they entered until 1325, when they reached Lake Texcoco. Legend states that the tribe saw an eagle perched on a cactus on an island in the lake, eating a snake. The Aztec took this as a sign and founded their capital city, Tenochtitlan, on the lake. Building a city on a lake was a challenging task, but it had some natural advantages. The lake provided a natural barrier for anyone wanting to attack the city, and it provided easy access to water for agriculture. However, there were two crucial problems. Firstly, traveling anywhere was far more difficult, since they had to get across the lake first. To solve this, they constructed raised roads, called causeways, which could link the islands to the shore in order to improve transportation. However, canoes and boats continued to be the primary means of transport. The second problem was much more challenging. The lake was filled with salt water and was not suitable for drinking. No city can survive or grow without daily access to fresh water. As a result, the Aztec became clever engineers in order to develop ingenious methods to ensure a steady supply of fresh water to Tenochtitlan. Firstly, they noticed that the hills surrounding Lake Texcoco had freshwater springs. So, the Aztec constructed long aqueducts that channeled water from these springs to Tenochtitlan. One of the most famous was the Chapultepec Aqueduct, which brought water from the springs at Chapultepec Hill to the city. The Aztec also constructed a system of dikes to separate the brackish waters of Lake Texcoco from the freshwater springs that flowed into the lake. These dikes helped reduce the salt content of the water in certain areas, making it more suitable for consumption. The Aztec also collected rainwater. They had systems in place to capture and store rainwater for use during drier periods. Finally, in some areas of the city, the Aztec dug wells to access the freshwater table beneath the island. As the population of the city continued to grow, another problem became apparent. The Aztec needed to supply enough food for its people. Since the city was located on a lake, there was limited access to good farmland. To solve this problem, Aztec engineers created a clever solution called chinampas. Chinampas, sometimes referred to as floating gardens, were man-made islands that were used for growing crops. To construct them, the Aztec farmers would row out to an open space of the lake and hammer wooden logs into the lake bottom to create a rectangular frame. The frame was then filled in with mud from the bottom of the lake, as well as decaying vegetation and soil brought in from the edge of the lake. With enough dirt, the chinampa rose above the water level and created a garden bed that could grow crops, all the while being watered by the lake around it. In these chinampas, the Aztec grew three main crops: corn, beans, and squash, often together in a method known as the Three Sisters agricultural technique. This method allowed each plant to support the others, creating a more sustainable and efficient growing system. There were other more luxurious foods which they grew as well, including tomatoes, avocados, chilies, and sweet potatoes. With steady fresh water now flowing into the city and a seemingly endless opportunity to make as much farmland as they needed, the Aztec were ready to expand their influence beyond Lake Texcoco. Now it was time for the birth of an empire. The Aztec Empire used a mixture of military conquest and diplomatic alliances to maintain control over this vast region. After founding their capital city, it didn't take long for the Aztec to make their existence felt among the local tribes in the region. In 1428, the Aztec allied with the cities of Tlacopan and Texcoco, creating an entity called the Triple Alliance. This new combined force expanded rapidly in the late 15th century, with the Aztec emerging as the most powerful of the three cities. With each war of expansion, conquered peoples were forced to pay heavy taxes and tribute to Tenochtitlan. Valued commodities sent by these cities included gold, jewelry, woven cloth, cacao beans, corn, honey, birds, fish, and even slaves. The rapid and aggressive expansion, as well as the heavy taxes put upon their subjects, created anger towards the Aztec and the Triple Alliance. Many cities refused to surrender and remained a constant military threat. These included the city-states of Tlaxcala, Cholula, and Huexotzinco. By 1500, the Aztec Empire was one of the most powerful forces in the region. However, it was not yet the undisputed regional superpower, as there were other powerful Mesoamerican civilizations. One of their main contenders was the Tarascan Empire, which had not been conquered by the Aztec and remained a significant threat. However, the cultural influence of Aztec trade and society was felt far afield, from the Pacific Ocean in the west to the Gulf of Mexico in the east. Perhaps the most well-known aspect of the Aztec culture is its religion. Religious belief played an important role in Aztec life, but it is very different from the religions we're familiar with today. The Aztec were polytheists, which meant that they worshipped hundreds of gods. Each god had their own temple and particular ceremonies that needed to be maintained for them. The Aztec believed that the gods were in charge of keeping the universe in existence, and that the correct ceremonies carried out at the correct times would prevent darkness and chaos from destroying the world. The most controversial part of this system was the role that human sacrifice played in their religious ceremonies. The Aztec believed that the gods required human blood to help them maintain order in the universe. As a result, the killing of captured enemies or volunteers occurred regularly throughout the year. In Tenochtitlan, the two largest temples were located in the middle of the city at a complex known as the Templo Mayor, or the Great Temple. People had to ascend over 100 steps to reach the twin temples at the top. At the summit was a house for the gods and an altar on which sacrifices were performed. Two of the Aztecs' most important gods were worshipped there: Tlaloc, the god of rain, and Huitzilopochtli, the god of sun and war. The fact that the gods of rain and sun and war were the two prominent deities indicate the importance of agriculture and military conquest in Aztec society. As the empire expanded, the threat that captured soldiers would be sacrificed to the Aztec gods was a powerful form of psychological warfare. Each city-state had to decide whether resistance was worth the risk. By the dawn of the 16th century, the Aztec Empire seemed to be unstoppable, and maybe even destined to dominate the world of Central America. However, just on the horizon lurked an even greater threat: European explorers. I hope you have enjoyed learning about the rise of the Aztec Empire. If you would like to learn more, please visit the History Skills website. I look forward to seeing you again soon on our next video.